Hello, and welcome back to the Paper SOPRANO podcast. I am your host, and my name is Heidi. And listen, you guys, not to be that guy, but there literally was like, I'm gonna wager absolutely nothing that happened today. So, what on earth am I supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, it is such typical, of this time of year. You know what I mean? Like, when it's in between Christmas and New Year's, oh my god, I just hate it so much. It's so frustrating and, I don't know. There's all this, pressure. You know what I mean? Like, pressure to, when you don't have things going on, there's pressure to have things to do and just start doing things and be, instantly productive and figure it out and just make something for yourself to do. And it's that is so frustrating to me. And that's something that I've been dealing with while I have been here. And by here I mean back in Buffalo at my parents' house. It is just so frustrating because when I came here, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna be specifically practicing something or trying to work on something every day, whatever. In the beginning, it was kind of different because I still had my paper due. I still had something due for a class, but that was a week ago, and I don't know if there's anybody else out there who struggles with this, but god damn, it is I just can't stomach the idea of not doing anything. And I know that that's not very good. And the things that I'm doing are menial tasks. Like today I organized the pantry and I, took the dogs out and I, started packing up my stuff because I'm leaving here soon and, silly little things like that. I did 6 loads of laundry because I washed all the sheets and the linens that I used while I was staying here, and oh my god, it feels like one of those days where you just did nothing but also didn't stop moving the entire time. But when I do stop moving and when I'm just sitting there, I feel physically ill. And I could cry talking about it. I don't know what is the matter with me. It's literally so annoying. But what is up with that? You know what I mean? Why? And by physically ill, I mean super uncomfortable and just bored and frustrated, and I know that there's this expectation that I shouldn't just be sitting there. I should never just be sitting there, always gotta be doing something, grind never stops, but I hate that in a way, but I also that's my whole MO is the grind never stops, and I have to be doing something, and I do feel I need these outlets of cleaning or organizing or other things, but then it becomes this really cyclical thing where it's I'll do one of those tasks in order to feel productive, and then I'll be tired and bored and annoyed of it quickly, or right after I'm finished with it, and I'll sit down and sit on my phone and not want to do anything for a long period, and then I'll be oh my god, I'm bored, I'm not doing anything, and then I'll get up and do another one of those things. You know what I mean? And I think what I was trying to talk about in yesterday's podcast when I was going through all of the books on my shelf, which I am still looking at today as I record this, but I think my main thing with reading and stuff is, I don't know, I I think it's hard for me to describe, but if I were to like be able to break up that cycle with reading and or with like karate or something. I used to have this commitment to karate that I haven't had in such a long time, and it's so hard for me to like self motivate and and actually do it by myself, which is so weird. But it's so similar to music. Like I can't even tell you how similar martial arts is to music and how similar that whole relationship has been my whole life. Because it's like, music and martial arts are always better. Like when you're practicing with somebody else, you know? So I don't know, it's just a very strange thing, and I've been struggling with this a lot. And I'm just having some thoughts. Hold on. And I need to fix something really quick. I'm going to close the door, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so we're back. As you know, if you're new here and you're just like, what? We do not edit this podcast. This is not a fancy podcast yet. I don't know if it ever will be, but the whole vibe is like, listen, I'm just here talking, and if you want to listen, I am so happy that you're here. But at the same time, it goes along with what I was just talking about, how, I have specific things in my life where I'm like, oh my God, like I have to be doing something, have to do it. And I get frustrated easily and bored easily. And it's like, I can't like sit still. I have to feel either useful or doing something like that. I don't know. I guess my whole intention with this podcast is that I am able to just sit down and do one take. Like it's not a perfectionism thing. Like it's not something where I'm going to sit down and edit it for hours and be really concerned with how it looks or what the quality of it is. I know the content is there. I have things to say, and it's really like just an expression of my like endeavors. I don't know. And I struggle with trying to make everything as perfect as it can be, or as high of a standard as I would want it to be. Even today when I was organizing the pantry, not kidding, I was getting very upset about how certain things just didn't fit in places and they didn't look good in places, and it was like, ugh, I don't know if I should throw this out or whatever. It's close, to the expiration date, but it's also unopened. So I'm like, I was getting like literally upset about those things. And like, who does that? Like, who does that? And I guess what I'm trying to talk about now is just that, like, that's why I don't edit these podcasts and why I'm trying to just spit out content every day, because I do have so much within me that I want to express and I feel needs to be expressed, and I'm like, I just want to talk and I want to say things, and like I don't know, I have a lot of friggin' ideas, I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of things that I want to say, whether it's through music or through this podcast or through martial arts. I don't know, I just have some things to say, and I'm trying to get away from the idea that it has to be very polished in order to be good. Because good is so relative, and also good is so overrated. You know what I mean? Like, good is a very polished movie that has, been in the works for 5 years, and it has like a $3 million budget and blah, blah, blah. But also, good is somebody sitting down and turning on a camera and just recording themselves and being genuine and just talking, and it's one take, and it's, not going to reach a lot of people. And but does that make it any less good? Like, what is good? So, I mean, obviously that's a very dumb question. We all know, like, everything is relative, but it is frustrating because I do feel very strongly about certain things in my life and how I want them to be and how I want them to be perceived. I think that's really the main thing. It's like perception over anything. And if you are friends with me on Facebook, like, I am trying so very much to not be concerned with how my social media presence appears to others. Like, there are people that I know, and I just want to, like, look them in the eye and be like, why are you doing this? There are people that I know on social media who are like, they will not like something or they will not comment on something because it makes them look a certain way. I don't really even know what that is. Or, like, they will unfollow someone or they will remove you as a friend so that they have more followers than people they're following, if that makes any sense. So it makes them look more desirable because of that number of followers that they have versus the people they are following. And oh my God, it is so bizarre that that is a litmus test for desirability. Because, dude, what the hell? Like, it is so frustrating to me that people are like, everybody's like a social justice warrior when it comes to, like, big events, like posting about something very specific, or, supporting small business, or blah blah blah. Like, I want to support this cause, and I shared this GoFundMe and I did this, and it's like some big gesture. But it's like, it can be so much easier, and every day you can be doing those things. Commenting on a post, or like reacting or liking it. Like, reacting is better. The algorithm knows that reacting is better than just liking it. Commenting is better than just liking it. Liking it is better than just scrolling past it. But, like, any kind of interaction on, like, small business posts, or like collegiate posts, or somebody's recital video, or somebody's EP that they just put out, like, commenting on those things and liking them and interacting with them, it costs you nothing. And it's like, the whole thing about, like, oh, well, I don't want to look like somebody who likes things. Like, what? Why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to be someone who supports someone else? Like, isn't that what you're trying to do? Like, so I get very frustrated by that whole thing. And personally, I am trying to become the type of person who will comment on anything that I like or want to support. And, I have no shame. Oh, okay. Well, the dogs are barking, so I don't know if you can hear this or not, but I think somebody's home. But we're just going to talk through it because guess what? Like I said, no shame. So it doesn't really matter what people post on social media. If I want to support them, or if I think that they're a genuine person, I will. And I think a lot about my friends who are, like, aspiring musicians, and I think so much about how people might be controlled mentally by the numbers, and how many views you're getting and how many likes you're getting. And, they become obsessive with the analytics. And, like, yes, that is a big part of it. But I think especially in the beginning, and, throughout the whole process, especially in the beginning, though, you have to be aware of the fact that it's got to be for you, and it's got to be something that you genuinely like. If you're trying to pander to an audience that may or may not agree with your initial ideas or your content or whatever you're trying to post, then that's not the audience you want anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and who even needs an audience and in the beginning? Like, if you are inspired to do something, like I am very much inspired to do this podcast, and I feel like, yeah, dude, I am not looking for numbers right now. Of course, I want you guys to subscribe and like the videos and stuff. Like, that's cool. But, like, I'm not trying to, like, market myself in a way that's not me. And I just get very frustrated with my friends who take the whole analytics thing in the wrong way. Not even too seriously, because I think you should take it seriously if you're trying to become your own business and market yourself. For sure. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. I do that. We as musicians and singers and stuff in auditions, we do this all the time. Like, I'm here to sell my my service, my artistic service, and that's, it's not through likes and comments, but it is in a similar way. I'm trying to gain approval from others so that I can get paid. You know what I mean? And that's totally fine. Like, if that's your main goal is you want to get paid, then great. But it's frustrating to see people become upset when their main goal is to get paid, and they're frustrated as to why people aren't, responding to them, or they're not sharing this, or they're not liking this or that. I'm like, dude, you just gotta, like, keep doing it, Like, and especially now, not to be like, nobody cares, but, like, nobody really cares. We're all very self-absorbed right now. Like, we're in a friggin' pandemic, for God's sake. And it's like, people have a lot on their minds. And it would be wonderful if people were heavily influenced by your music and you blew up right away. But, like, what are the odds of that? Unbelievably small. And that's not a bad thing. This is like, I feel like I'm, like, yelling at someone, but, like, it's really not a bad thing. Like, to just, like, establish to yourself that it's worth it to continue to do what you're doing without trying to prove it to others through numbers, or prove it to yourself through numbers, because you're really just looking for that approval, that numbers approval. And it's totally addicting. It's cyclical. It's terrible. I definitely have been, I've been victim to the whole social media spiral. You know what I mean? Like, when you post something and you're like, oh my god, nobody's, whatever, and, like, I should have posted it at a different time because, like, nobody's on right now, and, like, if they would have seen it, they would have liked it, and blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, first of all, there's an algorithm that this whole big machine is working within, and you have to acknowledge the algorithm. And also, sometimes people just don't care, and that's okay. Because in reality, you listening right now, you are the center of your universe, and, like, you are your main character. You are the only person who you truly understand. You are the only person in your life who you'll ever, like, really, really, really root for in, like, a survival way, right? So, like, we have to all get on that level a little bit. Like, it's such a survival thing, and I'm convinced of this, like, until somebody else's existence, or until somebody else's persona, or their market, their whole thing, like their online presence, their music, their whatever, until that also contributes to your survival in some way, like it contributes to your mental health, or you watch them every day, or you listen to their music all the time, or you aspire to be them, they contribute to your goals in life, like, until they are attached to you in that way, like, they will never really care in the way that you want them to. And even then, it's like they're not actually gonna care that much, because we're all absorbed within ourselves in a way. And it's very upsetting to know this and to acknowledge it. But, like, I think it's also kind of weirdly freeing in a way, because it's like, yes, you have to just keep doing it for yourself. And if you get to a point where you're like, oh yay, now I'm like marketable and whatever, and I've mastered the algorithm, and now I'm here, and now I'm this, like, it's not gonna bring you any extra happiness or like fulfillment in your creation. You know what I mean? Like, it'll bring you money, and like it'll probably bring you like notability and potentially fame if that's what you're looking for, which is great, but I think in reality people are like, on the surface they say they're looking for money, or they don't say that outright, but like, they're like, this is my job, this is my job, this is my life. And I'm like, yes, but also you're looking for approval, and you're looking for, validation, and you're never going to get that from this. It has to come from within, and you have to just be okay with the fact that maybe in the beginning of your career, or when you started out, you weren't as you weren't as fully developed as you will be in the end. So I don't know, I guess that's my 2 cents on that. But I think that it's really frustrating sometimes to see people posting and just kind of assuming things and hoping that they'll get certain reactions from people when they post things. So it's like, dude, if you want to post something, then just post it. And it should be for you and for no one else. And if other people like it, that's like a side effect. That's like a good thing that happened additionally. But yeah, so I don't know how I started talking about this. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna cut it a little bit short today. I'm gonna be traveling back soon to Long Island, and I am excited to go back. There's just something about like where all your things are. You know what I mean? Like, material things are very interesting like that for me. I feel like, I don't know, I go back and forth about my material items, because it's like, in one side of my mind, I'm literally like, I just want to get rid of everything and throw everything in the garbage and like get rid of everything. But then I don't know, because I do like, everybody likes their items. Everybody likes their bed, everybody likes their clothes, and your favorite pair of socks, and like all those things, like your couch, and all of those fun things that come with where you live. But I am hoping that in the new year, something that I am very much trying to accomplish is just like really looking at all my stuff and being like, hey girl, do you need this? Like, ugh. And I feel like I'm pretty good at doing that. Like, in general, I think I have a pretty minimal lifestyle. The one thing that I cannot get rid of for some reason is like books, and those are like the biggest thing. like heavy to move and terrible and awful and annoying in terms of space. But I can get rid of clothes like you would not believe. Oh my god. And I have probably like 4 pairs of shoes total. So it's like, not, those kinds of things don't really bother me, but, and I'm big on like, I love a good decoration, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Oh, this podcast has been a jumble of randomness, but I hope you got something out of it. I feel honestly not very satisfied. In a way I do, but like, sometimes talking about things helps me, and sometimes it like is a multi-step process, you know what I mean? And I think probably because I didn't do much talking at all today, literally. Oh, I just had a weird realization. I think these are like the first words that I'm speaking today? I think so. Yeah, I think these are the first, and it's like what? It's like almost 6 o'clock. Wow, that's pretty bad. Um, yeah, because I woke up a little bit late. I had a weird thing last night where I was like sleeping and I woke up and I drank a bunch of tap water because I was really thirsty because I didn't want to go downstairs and get like filtered water from the fridge. And I drank a bunch of tap water, and I'm not kidding. Like, I am not exaggerating at all. I have very sensitive like allergies and whatever. But I'm not kidding. I woke up like an hour later and my nose was running like crazy. I was sneezing. I was like, I literally was having like a full blown allergy attack, and I didn't go back to sleep until like 5 a.m. And I can feel it in my voice today. Like, I feel a little bit froggy and weird. But has that ever happened to anybody where you like drink tap water and you have like an allergy? I don't know. And I don't really drink the tap water from around here anymore because I don't live here. But like, is that a real thing? Like, can you be allergic to, I'm not like allergic, but like sensitive, I guess. I don't know. I definitely like had crazy, like, my nose was like hurting. Like, it was so intense. Like, it was dripping, and like literally I could hold like a tissue underneath my nose and like drips would come out. Like, it wasn't just like running a little bit. Like, it was like dripping. So in case you wanted that visual, there you go. Okay, but I'm gonna cut this off, you guys. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go speak to another human that, you know, maybe that will help me. But if you like this podcast and you are in some way inspired and you want to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and do that. And if you just want to listen to it and you don't want to subscribe, girl, do not do it. Because it does matter to me, but like, it also, you know, I'm neither here nor there about it, because it is what it is, you know what I mean? And I just went on that whole rant about social media. So it's like, do like this video if you liked it and you want to, but don't feel pressured. You know, I'm not trying to pressure you. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I don't know. I hope you're getting through these strange times. It's been a very weird couple days, and there's a lot of things that I feel like I really need to talk about, but I'm gonna save that for my therapist, Tanny, because nobody needs to hear about that except for her. So, okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whenever you're listening to this podcast. And this podcast, of course, is called The Paper Soprano. I am Heidi. That's my name. And thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Alrighty. Okay, I never know how to say goodbye, so bye.